Rolling Stone this month in a no-holds-barred interview. One topic of conversation, Kevin Durant going back to Cali. Here's what Steph had to say about KD back with the Warriors. He said, okay, KD's coming back and we're going to play with him. I had so much fun playing with him those 3 years. I'd be like, hell yeah. Then you have to think, what does that actually mean? What does it look like? Okay, Stephen A. Should KD regret leaving that dynasty?
Hell yes. I think that's obvious. There's no way around that. Put myself on Front Street, we all know that I was on the record years ago when he left Oklahoma City, calling it the weakest move that I'd ever seen by a superstar. It wasn't meant to indict him as a player because I think he's phenomenal. I think when healthy, Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet. That's how I feel about his skill set. I think he's that lethal. But to be in a Game 7 of a conference finals, to lose that Game 7 after being up 3-1, and then to go to the team that beat you 3 weeks later, I thought was weak. Having said all of that, it doesn't take away from the fact that the man went there, won back-to-back titles, and they would have blown Toronto out of the building, out of the country Canada. If Kevin Durant was healthy against Kawhi Leonard, there's no way in hell the Toronto Raptors would have beaten the Golden State Warriors in 6 games in the NBA Finals had Kevin Durant and ultimately Klay Thompson in that Game 6 had not gotten hurt. Having said all of that, you leave after all of that. And where you go matters. And who you go to play with matters. Steph Curry is a preeminent superstar in this game and the greatest shooter we have ever seen. And now he won. And last year, everybody, in that camp got mad at me because I said, if the Golden State Warriors win, Keyshawn, then people are going to be talking more about KD leaving Steph to join Kyrie than they would be talking about his 2 titles. Everybody was in an uproar on that side of the camp. So what happened? After the season ended and Steph Curry won the championship and the NBA Finals MVP, what are they talking about? You left Steph Curry. What the hell were you thinking? So now that we look at it, that's the narrative. And the only way to overcome that narrative is for you to show up in Brooklyn this year. We already know you could average 30. You averaged 29 last year. We know what KD going to do on the basketball court. We're talking about not what you're going to do individually, Keyshawn, in terms of your own numbers, your own stats, and what you bring to the table. We're talking about your ability to galvanize the troops in Brooklyn and to make a legitimate run at the title. That's where everything is really under a microscope for KD. That's where the legacy is in jeopardy of being tarnished. Not about his ability, not about his greatness. There's nothing to talk about there. That is cemented. This brother is one of the all-time greats. But you will be talking about him as a leader, the face of a franchise, and whether or not you're a guy that deserved the status that LeBron has had, that Steph Curry has now had. Are you someone that's worthy of that? That is going to be, it's the lone question about KD. There's nothing else to question, but it is a question.
He can put a lot of that to rest, though, if he goes and takes care of business.
That's what I'm saying.
In Brooklyn.
That's right.
No way in hell should he have ever entertained going back to Golden State.
Right.
Once you left,
that's
over with. You don't do that.
You don't go back.
Because if you do that, it's going to say more about you and less about Steph Curry for sure. Because you need Steph Curry to win a championship, and now you becomes like Steph Curry's, I own you. You need me. I don't need you.
It's not the move for the legacy
no, it's
that
not,
he's going
it's not
for with
the
all his
move at
talent.
all, one bit. The best thing to do, he did it, signed back with the Nets, follow through, finish the deal, see what it is, Molly.
Are you optimistic about the Nets this season?
I am. I think
excited to see
listen, I will tell you this. Milwaukee, to me, should be the legitimate favorites coming out of the East.
Even with a healthy Nets team?
No, what I'm saying is because of Chris Middleton, he was out and down and all that stuff. Boston can't be ignored. I ran into Doc Rivers the other day. The Philly's supposed to be ready, all of this other stuff. To me, Milwaukee, if Chris Middleton is healthy, but I'm of the mindset, if healthy, KD, Kyrie and Ben Simmons on the court together,
Yeah,
healthy, I'm going with Brooklyn. I don't care what the favorite is.
I get it.
I'm going with Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I believe, and let me tell you something right now. I'm not only going to, we'll revisit this another time. I'll go a step further. I got Kyrie Irving as one of my top league MVP candidates. I think Kyrie Irving going to put on a show this year. Everybody better brace themselves because the brother playing for a new contract. He's playing for a new contract. Listen, it matters. $200 million plus dollars matters now.
I didn't say it didn't.
It matters now.
Just like, yeah,
you a capitalist. Come on now. You know
the first thing you did is went to the money.
No, I'm saying it's not an insult. I'm just saying, hell,
He's
the
got
money
fresh
matters.
legs, too.
The money. Listen, Bradley Beal got $200 million.
He's
Zach
gonna
LaVine got $200
if he
million.
does anything remotely close to what you're saying, he's gonna get the money.
No, because that involves years.
Yeah, but he's gonna get. If he does anything remotely close to what you said, he's gonna get the money.
People, listen, and I believe that that's what he gonna have to do to get the money. Because in the process of balling, he gotta convince folks that he gonna show up to work, which I believe he will. Pass is the pass. I'm looking forward. I got Kyrie Irving as a league MVP candidate. This brother is gonna put on a show.
He's not far off from that.
That's right. And I think KD is just gonna be KD. If anything, KD gonna get in the way of his MVP aspirations because KD in his sleep is gonna do what he does. But in the end, Brooklyn should be the team that comes out of the East. And if they don't, boy, is it going to be a stain.
Well, this is the same. This is the same.
No doubt about it.
This team mindset probably for most people is the same as when they had James Harden. They should come out of the East.
That's right.
Because Ben Simmons can play. He may not be able to shoot.
That's right.
But he can play basketball.
He can play.
And he's one of the top dudes, especially on the defensive end. So it's nothing to even discuss. They've got to stay healthy, though. And I don't believe that Kyrie is going to be the Kyrie that we saw in the past. I don't think so. From a mental standpoint, I think he went through enough.
Yeah, he went through enough.
And he knows what he needs to do to get the contract, but also get people off his back.
And listen, ain't nobody been on his back more than me. I proudly say that. I proudly say that. But just the way that I was on his back, Kyrie go out there and show up to work and ball this year, I'll be the first one telling teams, pay that man because he box office. He'll pay for himself. Kyrie's spectacular. I want him on my team as long as he going to show up to work. Okay, that's it. That's all I want. And I'll be the first sitting there, pay that man. Pay him. But I'll tell you this, get back to the Warriors. From what I was told, Clay, Dre, all of them were in support of KD coming.
As they should. I would be too.
Let me explain what happened.
Wouldn't want
Let me explain what happened. This is what I was told. They were all in support of it, assuming that's what the organization wanted to do. You Bob Myers, you Joe Lacob and those boys, you Steve Kerr. Well, okay, here's the question. Number one, you left. Number two, no salty feelings. I'm saying you left. As a result, we just won the chip. I got a Wiggins. I got a Jordan Poole. I got a Kuminga. I got a Moses Moody. I'm like, I got assets now. So if you Golden State, do you give up those assets? And what I'm saying to you is, no.
I do.
I'm saying that's why I brought the question up.
I do.
Because I'm telling you right now, no. Why? Because
him to come back sooner than is advisable for an injury like this, and none of us are medical people like
we don't know the medical stuff so good.
Not so good. No.
As Jerry just said, we don't know it that good, but Danny, you made the point on TV as we went off the air. They already are holding a roster spot for Michael Gallup, who didn't play week one, and we're not sure quite when he will. And for anyone who says, well, how valuable is it? It's valuable, right? It's extreme. Like you get two injuries in your linebacking core in the middle of a game, and now you're playing shorthanded. This is a very, very puzzling decision.
Yeah, they didn't exactly look like a team that can just throw away roster spots, right? I mean, I don't know how deep they are. Look, I mean, if you're going to announce this or say this as Jerry did, it's got to accompany a couple things. One, you have to have an honest conversation with Dak Prescott where you say, hey, this is the move we're making. Don't make you think we want you back. You come back when you're ready, period. I would also say you have to say that publicly. It's like we're going to put any pressure on Dak. We're holding this out in case, but we're not. There's not an expectation on him to hurry back because that's the worst thing he could do is to rush back from something like this. He's got to make sure that it's all the way right. You couldn't
have had that conversation because he just had to search. The anesthesia hasn't even worn off yet.
He'll agree to anything. Right.
You make an interesting point, Dominique, because I know how. We joke sometimes on our TV show that you're Dak's cousin because you've been very protective of him. There will be a segment of people who, if he doesn't come back in 4 weeks, will now question him, right? They'll question his toughness when there's a 99% chance that's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous way of viewing it, but it will happen, and it would certainly not have happened if they put him on IR.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we joke about me being in the Prescott family in part because I recognize some, like, inexplicable bias against Dak Prescott way back to when he was being compared to Carson Wentz. And I became a Dak believer, and I saw Lane because everyone was doubting this guy who so obviously was good.
Yeah.
So that's how I became a part of Dak Prescott fan club or family, whatever. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I know he's not Patrick Mahomes, but I also know that he seems like the type of guy who is going to do what's best for the team. And he wants to say the right things. He wants to do the right things. And it seems to me like right now they're putting him in a situation where he almost has no choice, or he's going to have to be someone who he hasn't been. Someone who says no to Jerry Jones, and says no to the Cowboys fans, which they're not going to take it well. So, I mean, I hate this for him. I hope that when he comes back, he's ready for it, and he does not impact his career long-term or, I mean, even short-term. Because the perception around him, there are people who seemingly want him to fail, and he's not going to succeed in this situation, whether his thumb is healthy or not. And it's going to look really bad with a bad thumb.
Look, the quarter